Hey guys, so we're back for Read Aloud. We had a little time off over the weekend, but we're back for chapter 6 of Land of Stories, and it's called The Dwarf Forests. So, I know I have changed of venue this time. I was getting tired of sitting in the kitchen, so I figured we'd try it from the living room, and we'll see about Max. Also, I'm in the process of hatching chickens, so today is hatch day, and we had one pip, so that's super exciting. So I kind of like to stay in the living room so I can hear any progress. And you might hear Max too. He's been going a little cray cray with the chicks. So we'll see what happens. But chapter 6, The Dwarf Forests. I packed you some food, a couple of blankets, and a few gold coins I've been saving, Froggy told the twins and handed Connor a sheepskin satchel. Thank you so much, Alex said. It's so kind of you. Now, when you say food, what exactly are you referring to? Connor asked him, holding the satchel in a safe distance away from him. Some rolls and apples, Froggy told him. Oh, good, Connor said, relieved. Froggy handed Alex the map and journal they had been looking at the previous night. Are you sure you are ready for this? Froggy asked them. You are both awfully young to be going on a quest like this. Alex and Connor looked at each other, thinking the exact same thing. It was hard enough to navigate around their own world at their age. Could they really travel around a different world altogether without the help of an adult? But the twins found reassurance in each other's eyes. They knew that, through it all, they'd at least have each other. We really don't have another choice, Alex said. Thank you for all of your help, Froggy. We would still be lost in the woods without you. Froggy smiled widely and nodded. Of course, he said. I should be thanking you. I rarely have the opportunity to feel so useful. Are you sure you don't want to come with us? Alex asked. A map is great and all, but a tour guide would be better. At first, Froggy's smile grew with excitement as he was tempted by the idea. The thought of traveling into the world and leaving his hole-in-the-ground home was alluring. It was clear he could feel the temptation throughout his entire body. However, his fears and insecurities about the outside world seeing him and what he had become erased the opportunity from his mind. I can't, children, Froggy said with a heavy heart, but I wish you the best. The twins were disappointed, but they understood. It was difficult for them to even go to school with just a small blemish on their faces. They couldn't imagine the stress of facing the world as an enormous amphibian. You guys ever had like a scratch or pimple or something on your face and you just didn't want to go out because you didn't want people to see it? I remember being younger and feeling that way. At old age now, I don't really care. But back in the day when I was a teenager, for sure. It is very important that you get out of the dwarf forest by sundown, Froggy instructed. Go to the path and travel south in the Corner Kingdom. It's a few hours walk, but you will be safer there. Travel as quickly and quietly as you can. Promise me. The twins promised. Alex gave Froggy a big hug and kissed his cheek. Connor shook his hand and then wiped it on his pants. I hope we see each other again, Alex told him. That would be lovely, but for your sake, I hope we don't, Froggy said and winked. Connor clapped his hands. All right, those items for the wish and spell aren't going to find themselves, he said. Let's go. The twins pushed open the doors and climbed from inside the underground home. As they headed into the forest, Froggy waved goodbye until it was out of their sight. Soon they went back on the dirt path they had landed on the previous day, and they headed south as they had been instructed. It was very unnerving for the twins to be alone on the path now that they understood the dangers of the forest. They regretted not trying harder to persuade Froggy into coming with them. They jumped at every sound the trees made. Alex and Connor remained silent for the first hour or so as they walked, afraid that their voices would attract unwanted attention from some of the creatures Froggy had warned them about. We're very brave, Alex finally said to her brother. Breaking the silence. We're very stupid, Connor said. The path curved through the forest, revealing new trees and bushes every few feet. After some time had passed, the twins could feel their nerves and tension calm. Their pace became slower and slower the more they walked, and they became more comfortable with being in the forest. Connor let out a long sigh. Ugh. What's that for? Alex asked him. I was just thinking, Connor said. Alice went to Wonderland after she fell into a rabbit hole. Dorothy's whole house was scooped up by a tornado that dropped her off in Oz. The Narnia kids traveled through an old wardrobe. You guys know what a wardrobe is? It's kind of like a closet that stands by itself, kind of almost like a big dresser, but it opens and you can hang things in it. And we've ended up in fairy tale world by falling through a book. Where are you going with this, Connor? Alex said. I'm just saying, it's kind of lame compared to the others, Connor said with a sigh. I wonder if there's a support group for people like us. You know, people who accidentally travel into other dimensions and whatnot. Alex was appalled. Do you not get how lucky we are? She said. Think about all the things we're going to see. Think about all the people we're going to meet. We're going to be experiencing something no one else in our world ever has. Connor rolled his eyes. I'll feel lucky as soon as we get back home. Alex reached into her bag and pulled out their map. Her eyes became fixated on it, and she only looked up every minute or so to make sure that she wasn't about to walk into a tree. Every few seconds, she'd snicker or smile as she discovered something new. She looked like a tourist. Shouldn't we be reading the journal? Connor asked. We need to make a list of the wishing spell items and find out where we can find them. We will, Alex said passively. There'll be plenty of time for that. Connor was getting frustrated with her. Did she not realize how serious the situation was? We need to go home, Connor said. What are we waiting for? There are just a couple of things I'd like to see before we go, Alex told him. What are you talking about? Connor asked, his volume and temper rising. We're in the fairy tale world, Connor. We should make the most of it while we're here, Alex said. Who else gets the chance to see Cinderella's palace, or Jack and the Beanstalk, or Rapunzel's tower in person? Connor's mouth and eyes were wide open. He couldn't believe what she was saying. We're stuck in another world, and you want to go sightseeing? He said, Are you hearing yourself right now? Do you know how crazy you sound? She stopped walking and turned to face her brother. There was seriousness and desperation in her eyes. Connor, the last year of our lives has been horrible. We've lost everything but Mom and each other. Alex said, Every night I've wished for a fairy godmother to magically appear and make everything better. And now we're in a place where that's possible. I don't have friends to go home to like you do. The only friends I've ever known live here. And I'm not going home until I meet them. Alex continued walking down the path. Connor was absolutely dumbstruck. Why am I being the only logical one? Connor questioned. You're always overthinking everything. How are you not out of your mind with worry? What's there to be worried about? Alex asked with a laugh. For starters, what's Mom going to do when she finds out we're missing? Connor pointed out. She'll think we were kidnapped. She already has enough to worry about. Alex knew he was right, but her desire to see the fairy tale world was so strong, she was able to ignore him. All I need is a day or two, Alex said. That'll give us plenty of time. How are you so sure that these worlds run on the same time schedule? Connor panicked. Think about it. The stories of Cinderella and Red Riding Hood have been around for hundreds of years in our world, but it only seems like a decade or less has gone by here. A couple of days and Mom might be in her 80s when we get home. Connor rubbed his head. It hurt thinking so hard. Alex was listening more than she wanted to. She was practically repeating word for word the logical voices that her head were saying. What if something happens while we're gone? Connor asked. What if we go back and apes and aliens have taken over our planet? If I miss that, I'll never forgive you. Alex stopped walking and looked up from the map. A very odd expression appeared on her face. Didn't think of that, did ya? Connor asked. But Alex wasn't listening to him. Something else entirely had caught her attention. Do you smell that? Alex asked. What? Connor said. All I smell is trees and dirt. Alex took a couple of steps further. No, it's something else. It's sweet, like something's baking. Connor sniffed. Sure enough, A scrumptious smell was drifting through the air. "It smells like gingerbread," Alex said. She looked at her brother with large, excited eyes. Do we know of any stories where gingerbread plays a part? Let's think about that. A fairy tale with gingerbread. "Oh no," Connor said. Before he could stop her, Alex took off running in the trees, away from the path, toward the direction the aroma was coming from. What's an aroma? Towards where the aroma was coming from. Alex kept sniffing, so an aroma is it's a smell. Typically, an aroma has a positive connotation, where other smells, like an odor, would be like a smell with a negative connotation, right? "Alex, wait," Connor ordered. "Come back. You don't know where you're going." Alex bolted through the trees, jumping over boulders and bushes as she passed them. The scent became stronger and stronger the farther she strayed from the path. Connor was right behind her, urging her to turn around. Finally, Alex came to a halt, and Connor bumped into her. She had found exactly what she was hoping to see. What do you think she's looking at right now? A small gingerbread house sat between two large trees. White frosting covered its pointed roof. Gumdrops lined the path to the front door, like a picket fence. "Look, Connor," Alex said, catching her breath. "It's a gingerbread house. A real gingerbread house. Look how cute it was." "Whoa," said Connor. "I feel like I might get diabetes just looking at the place." "Let's go inside," Alex said, and stepped toward the door. Guys, what is the story of a candy house where two little kids find it in the woods? Do you think this is going to be a positive interaction? I'm kind of scared for them, right? It's giving me Hansel and Gretel vibes. Let's see. Maybe we're right, maybe we're wrong. Hopefully not. Hopefully it's not Hansel and Gretel's, because that witch was not good, was she? What'd she want to do to the kids? Yeah, she wanted to eat them. Connor grabbed her arm. "Have you lost your mind? Do the words Hansel and Gretel cannibalism the Hansel and Gretel cannibalism incident mean anything to you?" "I just want to peek inside for a second. Only 1 second." The door of the gingerbread house slowly opened. Alex and Connor froze. A large hooded figure squeezed out of the door and raised its head to stare at the twins. It was undoubtedly a witch. And although they had never seen a real witch to make a comparison to, she was more grotesque than they could have imagined. Her skin was more wrinkled and pale with a yellowish tint. Her eyes were bloodshot and bulged out of her head. Ugh. She was hunched over and had an enormous hump on her back. "Hello, children," the witch said. Her voice was high-pitched and crackly. "Would you care to join me for a bite to eat?" It was impossible for the twins to hide their fear. They both stood staring at her as if she were a rabid Tyrannosaurus Rex about to pounce on them at any moment. "No, thank you," Alex said. "We were just passing by. You have a lovely home." They slowly backed up 1 foot at a time. "Wouldn't you like to see the inside?" the witch asked. "The inside of whom?" Connor asked, and Alex elbowed him. "Don't be silly kitties. Come inside," the witch said, losing her patience. She extended an inviting, shaking hand toward them. They noticed it was covered in burn marks, perhaps from the last time she'd had visitors. "I thought the witch died at the end of Hansel and Gretel," Alex whispered to Connor. "Maybe she got a hold of a fire extinguisher after they left," Connor whispered back. They continued backing away slowly from her. "Thank you so much for the invitation, but we really need to be going now," Alex said. "We're on a really tight schedule," Connor added. "We're meeting a couple of dwarfs for coffee in a half an hour, so we better get a move on." They quickly took off in the direction they'd come, but came to a jarring stop when the witch suddenly appeared in front of them with a pop. What type of figurative language is pop? It's that really fun word. Yeah, onomatopoeia. They tried running back the other way, but the witch just appeared in front of them again with a snap. Again, that's an example of onomatopoeia, snap. They were trapped. You aren't going anywhere, the witch said. She seemed to grow taller and her eyes bulged bigger and her patience ran out. Now be like nice little chickies and follow me inside. Alex, this is like one of those bad videos about stranger danger from the first grade, Connor whispered to her. Do you still have your kidnapping whistle? You don't want to eat us, Alex told the witch. We've been walking a while, so we're really dehydrated. We're practically just skin and bones. The witch was definitely growing. Her hump shrank and her body rose higher. Your friend seems to be rather plump, the witch said, looking at Connor like a praying mantis about to strike. Ooh, figurative language. She was looking at Connor like a praying mantis about to strike. It's comparing two things using like or as, so it's a simile. Good. He has more than enough to spare. She was practically salivating. I beg your pardon? Connor was so offended, he forgot how terrifying she was. I'll have you know that I'm on the edge of another growth spurt, and I always get a little pudgy before one. Connor, please don't. Alex tried, but it's too late. Why do you want your victims chubby anyway? Wouldn't it be healthier if they were muscular and fit? Connor said. The witch looked from side to side and raised an eyebrow. She had never considered this. Her consideration must have distracted her from attacking the twins, because she began to shrink back to her normal hump shape. If you ask me, Connor continued, you should turn your gingerbread house into a gingerbread gym and health club. Alex couldn't believe the crazy things her brother had said, but this one took the cake. What a delicious idea, the witch cackled. I'll rebuild it as soon as I'm finished with you. The witch began to grow again, and this time her mouth opened wide, and a set of jagged teeth grew out of it. She was going in for the attack. Alex screamed, Wait! With her hand covering her face. She said, You owe him! The witch recoiled into smaller form. I owe him? She asked. Yes, isn't that how it works? Alex said. He presented you with an idea, and now you owe him a wish. A wish? The witch asked. A wish? Connor asked. Alex nodded convincingly. The witch grunted. Yes, the Happily Ever After Assembly just enacted a new law, Alex said, thinking on the tip of her toes. Any witch presented with a good idea must return the favor by granting a wish. Yeah, Connor said, going along with her. Don't make Mother Goose fly down here. She'll let her geese loose on you, and some of them lay golden eggs, and that can't feel good. Who knows how aggressive they'll be. Fine, the witch said. I shall grant you one wish, but only because I don't want to deal with those fluttering freaks again. Connor leaned close to his sister. What should I wish for? Should I wish to go home? He whispered. No. She'll try to trick us with whatever we wish for. It has to be very specific, Alex said. Hungry child! Hurry up! The witch demanded. Okay, Connor said, thinking as fast as he could. It has to be a good one. It had to help them get out of the situation. I wish you would become a vegetarian, he said to the witch. What's a vegetarian? Do you hear the word veg? They only eat, like fruits and vegetables and things. They don't eat meat, do they? Alex turned her head to her brother sharply. That's what you picked? Very well, the witch shrieked. The twins weren't sure she knew what a vegetarian was. She reached her hands toward the sky and clapped, making a sound as loud as thunder. As loud as thunder. It's a simile. The twins ducked, and the wish appeared to have done its trick. The witch's hump faded, and the yellowish tint of her skin disappeared. Her bloodshot eyes calmed. I've lost my appetite, the witch said. She shrugged her shoulders and then turned away from Alex and Connor and walked into the gingerbread house, slamming the door behind her. Alex and Connor took a deep breath. Their bodies had never been so tense. That was a close one, Alex said. You're welcome, Connor said. How did you think of wishing for her to become a vegetarian? Alex said. Connor scratched his head. It was the only sure way I knew she wouldn't eat us. Alex smiled at him. She wasn't given too many moments to be proud of her brother, so when the chance came, she soaked it up for all it was worth. Nice job, but let's get out of here in case your wish wears off. The twins hurried back through the path through the forest until they returned to the path. They continued heading south, this time keeping a faster pace. They had had their first dangerous encounter in the fairy tale world, and they were not in a hurry for another. Alex and Connor had been hurrying along the path for a while when Connor said, "Alex, I've got to sit down. I feel like my legs are going to fall off." "Connor, we have to keep moving. It's already afternoon, and Froggy said we need to cross into the corner kingdom before nightfall," Alex warned. "Easy for him to say. He has frog legs," Connor said. Checking how many pages we have left. Okay. "It's just for a couple of minutes, and then we'll keep going, I promise." "All right, but let's find someplace safe," Alex said. They continued walking farther and found a pleasant opening between some trees. Connor found a fallen tree to sit on and catch his breath. Alex looked around at the trees in the forest, noticing that they were all different shapes and sizes and shades of green. She was still bewildered by everything that had happened. "It's amazing, isn't it? All of this has been at our fingertips the whole time, and we never knew." She took a seat next to her brother, grinning from ear to ear. "What do you think Dad and Grandma would make of all this?" Alex asked him. "What do you think they would say if they knew this was actually real?" "From the way they talked about fairy tales, you'd think they did," Connor said, and couldn't help but smile at the thought. "I have 1,000 reasons why I wish Dad was still alive," Alex said, "but now I wish more than ever just so we could bring him back and show this to him and Grandma." "We have to get back first," Connor reminded her. "And while we're on the subject, I think we should take a look at that journal. The sooner we read it, the sooner we can get back home." "I know," she told him, but we should at least see a castle or palace first. Dad and Grandma would have wanted us to." Connor grunted. "Alex, we just barely escaped being lunch for a witch. We can't waste any more time." The sound of a few twigs snapped came across from the clearing, and something approached Alex and Connor, and they ducking down behind fallen trees hidden from view. A cream-colored horse slowed its travel into the clearing. It picked up its hooves in a peculiar manner, as if it had just been trained to tiptoe. The woman was riding the horse, and she looked cautiously around the clearing before she entered it. She was young and beautiful, and her eyes were big and blue, and her hair was half up, flowing into golden curls. She wore a long maroon knit coat with black leggings and very tall boots. The woman and her horse moved covertly into the center of the clearing. "Easy, Porridge," the woman said and stroked her horse. "That's a good girl, nice and slow." Porridge. Is that a clue here? Make an inference. Who is this? Porridge. And curls. She's got golden curls. She hopped down from the horse and made her way to the tree. Alex and Connor could see some sort of paper was pinned to it after taking a closer look, and saw the wanted poster for Goldilocks that she had seen the day before. The woman shook her head after reading it, and she ripped it off the tree and crumpled it up. "Who is that? What's she doing?" Connor whispered to his sister. "Do I look psychic to you?" Alex whispered back. Suddenly the woman's head jerked in their direction. Whoever she was, she had a remarkable sense of hearing. She drew a large sword from inside her coat and raised it high in the air. Her gaze was stern and determined, and she was obviously someone to be reckoned with. She stepped closer to where Alex and Connor were hiding. A piercing wolf howl boomed from the forest. It was so loud that Alex and Connor covered their ears, and the woman spun around and pointed her sword in the opposite direction of the twins. "Porridge, get ready. We're about to have company," she said. "Who?" Alex and Connor mouthed to each other. Creeping through the trees were a half-dozen wolves. However, the wolves were unlike any the twins had ever seen before. They were 4 times the size of any normal wolf in the world. Their fur was jet black and matted. Their eyes were red, and their snouts were wide. These wolves were ready to kill at any minute. Without a doubt, the twins had come face to face with the big, bad wolf pack. Alex and Connor held on to each other, shaking with panic, and the woman in the maroon coat had never showed a hint of panic. She pointed her sword at the largest of the wolves, standing in the middle of the pack. The wolves growled and gritted their teeth toward her. "Hello, Malcolm Claw," the woman said. "Hello, Goldilocks," he growled. The twins were both in silent hysterics. "Goldilocks! That's Goldilocks!" Alex mouthed to Connor. "The wolf talks. It talks," he mouthed back to her. "I'm surprised you're not chained down to the Red Riding Hood Kingdom jail cell yet," Malcolm said to Goldilocks. "I'm surprised you haven't been turned into a rug for your child's nursery yet," Goldilocks said. "What brings you this part of the forest? There isn't an innocent village for your pack to torment for miles." Goldilocks never lowered her sword, and the wolves and Malcolm Claw's pack slowly surrounded her and porridge. "My pack is hungry. We've stopped for an afternoon snack," the wolf said. "Have you really come to eat me?" Goldilocks said. "I thought you learned your lesson by now." "I bite back." She gripped her sword even tighter. Malcolm Claw laughed. "Ha ha ha! The wolf can laugh." "It can laugh," Connor mouthed to Alex. "You're far too small a portion," Malcolm Claw told her, in an evil wolfish grin. "Your horse, however, has plenty to go around." Alex and Connor had never seen a horse look as frightened as Porridge did. Had he not been so light-colored, she would have sworn he'd gone pale. "If you so much as put a scratch on her, I will wear you as a coat. Do you understand me?" Goldilocks warned him. "All the people in this world do is eat one another," Connor whispered to Alex, and as soon as he did, "I knew he shouldn't have." The wolf turned in twins' directions. "Malcolm Claw, I think I just heard something," it growled. Alex covered her mouth as to not to scream. The wolf began to sniff vigorously in the air. "I smell 2 children, a boy and a girl." Goldilocks seemed as surprised as the rest of the wolves to learn this. So that was who she had heard behind her moments before. The twins could hear their own heartbeats. What was going to happen to them? Was Goldilocks going to rat them out to save her horse? Had they just nearly escaped being devoured by a witch, only to be eaten by a pack of overgrown wolves? "I'm afraid you just missed them," Goldilocks said. "I frightened them away just like I frightened you the last time we crossed paths." "Then the horse it is," Malcolm Claw declared. All the wolves howled together. It was deafening. They began circling Goldilocks and Porridge, getting closer and closer. The wolves snapped at them with their enormous jaws, and Goldilocks swung her sword at them. One tried to pounce on Porridge, but the horse kicked him away with her hind legs. Another wolf tried to bite Goldilocks, but she struck him away with her sword, drawing blood, and it whimpered away. Goldilocks was the best swordswoman the twins had ever seen. Anytime one of the wolves got so much as a claw even close to her horse, she was quick to shield them. Porridge wasn't so bad herself. She wasn't shy about kicking any wolf away that was too close for comfort. A wolf leaped and sank its claws into Porridge's back. The horse bucked to free herself. In one quick slice, Goldilocks chopped one of the wolf's paws off. It limped into the forest, howling in pain. 2 wolves teamed up on Goldilocks. One leaped toward her, and she tripped over the other one. Her sword flew into the air, and she landed close to where the twins were hiding. Goldilocks was grounded, unarmed. The wolves were closing in on her and her horse, going in for the kill. "Catch!" Connor yelled, and tossed a sword straight towards her. Goldilocks swung it hard at the wolves closing in on her, leaving large gashes in their muzzles. "Retreat!" Malcolm Claw ordered his pack. "No snack is worth all this trouble." The wolves stampeded into the forest, growling in anger, letting the rest of the forest know they were on their way. "Until we meet again, Goldilocks," Malcolm Claw called, as he disappeared out into the forest with the rest of the wolves. Goldilocks got to her feet and put her sword away. She was out of breath now that the enemy had left, and she was much more vulnerable than she had shown in combat. She petted Porridge's nose and dabbed the horse's wounds with the fabric of her coat. "Good girl, Porridge," she said. She turned and faced the fallen tree Alex and Connor were hiding behind. "You can come out now," Goldilocks said. The twins were hesitant at first. Connor popped up and exclaimed, "That was awesome!" "Connor!" Alex said, popping up beside him. "That was one heck of a fight," Connor continued. At first, I really thought they had you. I never expected a girl and her horse could be any match for 6 hungry wolves, but you impressed me. Where'd you learn to fight like that? Goldilocks was not amused by his enthusiasm. When you've been on the run as long as I have, you pick up a few tricks here and there. She turned around and remounted her horse with a jump. So it's really you? Alex asked. Are you really Goldilocks, the woman wanted dead or alive for all her crimes? Don't believe everything you read, she said sternly, and then pulled on Porridge's reins and galloped away. But she only traveled a few feet before she steered Porridge back to the twins. Thank you for your assistance, Goldilocks said. Connor nodded. Here, take this, in case you need it. Goldilocks reached into the side of her boot and pulled out a silver dagger. She tossed it to the ground. Now, get as far away from here as possible. Those wolves will be back sooner than you expect. And with that said, Goldilocks and Porridge galloped off into the forest. Alex and Connor stood motionless, waiting for her to ride out of sight. That was amazing, Connor said. He retrieved the dagger from the ground and put it inside their satchel. As terrifying as that was, it was kind of nice to see another human for a change. We'd better get out of here, Alex said. And this time, we aren't stopping until we are out of the dwarf forest. Connor couldn't agree more. The twins continued down the dirt path, running this time. They had experienced much danger today, and that they had ever experienced in their entire lives. Unfortunately for them, it wouldn't be the last time they encountered Goldilocks, the big bad wolf pack, or the dwarf forests. So that's all for now, guys. I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye. Love you. Miss you.